Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Now, following my video yesterday, which is the WBC have now replaced Dillian Whyte with Tyson Fury. If you haven't seen that video, that will pop up at the end of this video, just so you don't have to go searching for it. Just watch this video through and it will pop up at the end. Now, since that video, I've been watching quite a few other channels, and how I do that is I go to the search menu and I put in hashtag WBC boycott 2020 to see which other channels are like-minded. And there's quite a few. So a couple of points that some of these channels have made, and one of them is very, very valid, which is from Big Boys Boxing in Jono. And I'll put a link to his video in the description box for you guys. Go over there, check him out, and of course, subscribe to him. Now, he mentioned in this one that maybe Vada is not good enough for the WBC. Because when you look at it, everybody in the top 15 ranked through all the divisions for the WBC must be enrolled in Vada. And that's all they have to participate in. Such as Deontay Wilder, he only does Vada. To my knowledge, he only does Vada. Much like Adam Kownacki, much like Luis Ortiz, etc., etc. But the likes of Dillian Whyte or any kind of like UK fighters, they do Vada plus UKAD. So, even though that Dillian Whyte has passed all Vada, so he's passed their protocol, he's passed all the tests that Wilder has and Luis Ortiz, Kownacki, etc., etc. But yet, because there's an adverse finding, now the adverse finding doesn't mean he's done something wrong, doesn't mean he hasn't either, okay? It just means that there's an adverse finding, that's what's going through investigation at the minute. But if he's passed all Vada, and yet the WBC have managed to put a hold on Dillian Whyte's position as the mandatory challenger for the WBC heavyweight world title, plus the interim world heavyweight title as well, is the fact that, and then replaced him with Tyson Fury, is a case of, well, clearly they're saying that Vada isn't good enough. So that's my question to the WBC, and I hope that all you guys go onto social media and ask Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC as well, is Vada not good enough? Because if it's not good enough, then why are the WBC employing Vada to do their anti-doping testing? If it's not good enough. Because if a fighter has passed what they deem as previously good enough, then any kind of issue that they have with Dillian Whyte right now should be null and void because he's passed all Vada. Does that make sense? So for me, I think that Jono, Big Boys Boxing, he made a very, very valid point. A point that I never really thought of beforehand, which I should have done, but I didn't. And it's a true point, isn't it? How can it be that he passed all Vada, which is their protocol, and yet somehow they managed to put him on hold? It seems very, very convenient to me. The fact that they don't want Dillian Whyte to take on Deontay Wilder. They don't want that fight whatsoever. They don't want Dillian Whyte, maybe because he's outspoken, maybe because he's a matchroom fighter. I don't know what it is. But they're quite happy to replace him, and it's convenient to replace him with Tyson Fury, a guy who has already had a WBC World Heavyweight title shot, a guy who's already signed to fight Deontay Wilder. So again, there's no need to call him a mandatory. And if anything, that might actually turn Tyson Fury off and make him walk away from the fight. Because that way, because Tyson Fury, he doesn't like to be told what to do, told who to fight. He considers himself lineal, many other people do as well. So therefore, he will defend his linealship against whomever it is that he deems fit. So by calling him the mandatory, much like when they ordered that rematch straight away, Tyson Fury was like, no, you ain't going to tell me what to do. And he pulled himself out. Of course, there was an added carrot as well, the fact that he signed a 5-fight deal with ESPN for $100 million as well. But in addition to that, you've got Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, where he mentioned a very valid point as well, which is that Tyson Fury, first of all, how did he get a world title shot to start with? Back in December the 1st, when he fought Seferi and Francisco Pianeta. Neither of those guys were ranked in the WBC. They weren't even ranked in the top 50, let alone top 15. And since that Wilder fight, yes, I think most of us agree that Tyson Fury did beat Wilder, and from that point of view, he does deserve a rematch. And I don't think anybody really has a problem with the rematch, but people have a problem with him being the mandatory, when it should be Dillian Whyte that's getting his opportunity. Tyson Fury's already had his opportunity. Tyson Fury walked away from a second opportunity. And since that Wilder fight, he's fought Otto Wallin and Tom Schwartz. Again, neither of those guys ranked in the WBC. So why is it that he's ranked so highly? In addition as well, which is something that I remembered yesterday, which was that, first of all, to be ranked in the top 15 of the WBC, as I said, you have to be enrolled in Vada. Tyson Fury was not enrolled in Vada up until about 2 or 3 weeks before he fought Deontay Wilder. Ultimately, on fight night, of course, he took all the Vada testing and everything, but you're supposed to be ranked and within the WBC clean boxing program, Vada, for a few weeks, if not months, before a world title fight. Or even just to be ranked. But they ranked him without it. Why? Because they're doing Deontay Wilder a favour. They bend their rules to suit. So we'll go back to the original question, which is, WBC, is Vada not good enough? If it's not, then you need to come out and say something. If Dillian Whyte has to go through Vada and go through UKAD, what is it that Wilder's going through? What is it that all the other top 15 fighters are going through? Are they just doing Vada? Can Dillian Whyte say to UKAD, you know what, screw you, I ain't doing that with you? Yes, of course, that means that he could lose his British Boxing Board of Control licence, but he didn't have to have that licence to fight in the UK or fight anywhere. Anyway, for me, it's a pretty valid question, which is Vada not good enough? Is that what the WBC are admitting? And if it's not good enough, then why is it compulsory to do Vada? Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.